right, let me grab the agenda here. Welcome everyone to the July 17th Implementation Board meeting of the Santa Clara Valley Habitat Agency. And let's take roll.
Chair Wasserman.
Here.
Board members Lazat.
Here.
Fitzwater.
Here.
Gallegos.
Here.
Schmidt.
Here.
Tucker.
Here.
Little.
Here.
Siebert.
Here. Thank you. Thank you for the roll call. And we'll now do the, before public comment. All right. Report from our Public Advisory Committee with Mr. Lyons, Chair.
We haven't met, and so I have nothing to report other than keep up the good, the business, and so we can continue to offer permits where permitted.
Offer the permits where permitted. I like that. I like that. Excellent report. Thank you very much for that comprehensive report. We now move on to public comments. Anyone wishing to speak about anything not on today's agenda? Seeing no one, we'll close that portion. I think we should also do our introduction. Do we have one here for Edward?
I don't see it. But
To do report from the executive officer. We'll wait for you till number 4. All righty. So now we move on to item number 1, which is to approve the minutes of the May 15th meeting. See a motion? Anybody
Move
just
to
say?
approve.
Move to approve. That's a good motion. Any seconds? We have a second. Any discussion? Seeing none. All in favor say aye.
Aye.
I must
Opposed?
just abstain.
You want to abstain?
I wasn't here.
All right. You're not a Dodger fan, though, are you? No? All right, because I'm just keeping an eye on you. All right, number 2. Adoption of resolution authorizing agreement with Land Use Planning Services for the Executive Officer Transition Services from July 7th through August 1st, 2014, going from Ken to Edward. And are we going to have a report on that? What do we need, board members? How much do you want to know? I know you all read your binders. How much do you want to hear? Brief to nothing?
I have a question.
Yes, Gordon, please. Mr. Chair,
Uh,
Member Siebert.
Thank you. Mr. Sullivan, are you going to be the one determining how many days that you're going to want services under this agreement?
It's already been determined. It's 17 total days.
So you're going to take advantage of the full period?
Exactly.
Okay,
Yes.
that's fine. Thank you.
I just had one other question, too. I noted that the staff report mentions that the contract is at $10,000, but the resolution is $10,500?
Yes, that's an error. There's 500 for reimbursable expenses like parking. And yes.
So the 10.5 is the actual number we're approving, up to 10.5 with expenses. Don't have any speaker cards. Anyone wishing from the public to speak on this item number 2? Seeing none, I'll look for a motion to adopt the resolution.
So moved.
Thank you.
Second.
Thank you. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye.
Aye.
Opposed? Passes unanimously. Thank you very much. Item number 3 is the adoption of resolution authorizing the agreement with the JJACPA Incorporated for professional services to establish a financial accounting system. And Ed, do you want to give report on this or a little overview?
Sure. And just for board member information, we have Joe Arch from JJA CPA who is on the phone if you have any particular technical questions about how they propose to do sort of the intricacies of this. So the Habitat Agency is expected to have its own accounting system. And currently we have an interim system, which isn't adequate for the long-term record keeping and keeping in compliance with the California Mitigation Fee Act. So we went out to solicit, and in May, RFP went out to solicit sort of proposals from firms who could help with this, helping us set up this accounting and record-keeping system. So the selection committee, which was made up of reps from Santa Clara County, Morgan Hill, and the Habitat Agency, reviewed 2 proposals, and one was clearly the superior proposal, both in terms of the services they were going to provide and also the cost, and that was JJA CPA. So the agreement will result in establishing a financial accounting system consistent with the needs of the state's Mitigation Fee Act identifying internal control policies and training, and also keeping track of all the fees that we'll be collecting on wetlands and species-specific and land cover. And it's a requirement of sort of our implementing agreement and our financial plan to sort of set this up, and it'll help keep our books in order. So this is sort of laying the groundwork for the financial system that'll help the agency over the next 50 years and beyond.
And Ed, if I may interrupt.
Yes.
You, while Ken's working with you the 17 days, you'll have an opportunity to work with this firm to
Yes.
make sure what they're setting up makes sense, works both ways.
Yes, and Ken, there's a kickoff meeting that's supposed to happen in the next week or so, and I've asked Ken to attend that because Ken understands some of the, like the burrowing owl fee is sort of this separate little thing that, and nitrogen deposition. So that's sort of, those are sort of the things that we got to make sure that things that Ken would know that maybe I don't know about that we got to have relayed to that firm.
Super, thank you. Any questions? Yes.
I understand that this firm that was selected too has, or also has experience with setting up for the first time smaller governmental entities, et cetera. Could you talk to that for us?
I'll talk just for a second on it, and then I'll defer to Joe on the phone.
And Joe, can you hear us?
He's on mute at the moment, and when you're ready for him, I could unmute him.
I'm sorry, he's on mute right now?
He is, yes.
Yeah, if you could unmute him, that would be great.
But Joe's currently in Grass Valley working for the city of Grass Valley
Mr. Arch?
doing their, yeah.
Can you hear me now?
Yes.
Okay.
All righty.
Thank you.
Thank you, Joe. Welcome, and we'll be calling on you. We'll be asking for you to speak in just a moment if you can listen to what's going on.
Okay, sure.
Thank you. Please continue, Ed.
Yeah, so like Joe's in Grass Valley right now, and and I'll let him elaborate on what he's doing, but he's working for the city of Grass Valley on an audit, correct, Joe? But I'll let you explain your experience of working at the local government level.
Okay. Yeah, and your question was more to, do we have experience setting up from the ground up? And actually, I have a number of years of experience doing that with government. So actually have set up and written JPA agreements and those kinds of things too. So from an accounting standpoint, I've set up cities on computerized systems. I have probably over 200 implementations under my belt. So, and I'm going to be the one leading the engagement and doing all the field work and probably most of the report writing too as well. So kind of helping you establish a system that is comprehensive and easy to maintain going forward. So that's kind of, in a nutshell, what we're going to be doing. The scope of services is pretty detailed, too, with some dates in there and that kind of thing. And, of course, we're flexible as to schedule as far as getting people together, but we want to make sure that everybody involved on the agency side is there in the meetings, and then we'll be providing status reports on a weekly or biweekly basis.
Thank you. And committee members, as I'm sure you're aware of, with that agenda item number 3 in our report, there was a selection committee that reviewed the applicants. And for the reasons detailed and itemized here, JJA, got it, Joe J. Arch, CPA. Okay. JJA CPA was chosen to take over this, establishing our accounting system, the balance sheet, profit and loss, I assume payroll, those types of things. Is that correct, Ed?
Payroll's separate.
Okay.
Yes.
Okay. Thank you. Any further questions? Yes. Committee Member Tucker. I think you're on. There's the lights don't come on.
Okay, I'm looking at the scope of what's entailed, and it just says status report via email. I was wondering if this is going to include some sort of summary report well, I'm a kind of person like it a little bit more than once a year, so either at half a year once you're, is that included here in the scope? Do we know?
Joe?
Well, the status reports are going to be pretty much weekly and mirror the tasks that you see there in the scope of work. So it's not like we're just going to give you a status report at the end of the engagement. We'll be providing status reports on a weekly basis, or whatever frequency that the agency needs it. We'll be providing kind of a status report where we are on things and tasks that need to be done and that kind of thing too. So it'll be pretty detailed.
Okay. Yeah.
Thank you. And the weekly status report you just referred to is included in your price quoted, correct?
Yes, exactly.
Thank you. Thank you. Other committee members, questions? No? All right, I'll look for a motion to adopt. We don't have anyone from the public wishing to speak on this item. Motion. Thank you for the motion. Thank you for the second. Any further discussion? Seeing none, all in favor say aye. Aye. Opposed? None. That passes unanimously. Thank you very much, Joe. We look forward to your reports and a good positive relationship. Thank you very much.
Yes, thank you. Look forward to working with you too.
All right. And Valerie, we're going on to number 4 right now, where I'm going to ask Ed to give his report as the executive officer and make any statements he wishes. And if you wish to, also we'll come under, we'll call it 4A or 4B, with your legal consent doing so. Just to say hi, introduce yourself, and anything you'd like to say. Ed, take it away, please.
Thank you, Mike. My name's Edmund Sullivan, and I'm the new executive officer of the agency. And it's a great honor to have gotten this position. Came from Placer County, is where I worked the past 11 years, and prior to that I worked in upstate New York for both in the consulting world and in local government. And this is I come here with a background in planning, conservation biology, and business. Way back when I worked for the Chevron Corporation in operations management and HR. So I hope I bring a good skill set to the job, and I am really excited about being here and working with you all to implement the plan.
Thank you for that intro, and go ahead with your report, whatever you wish to report, although there's not a lot of days in service at this time.
Just a couple things. Just to give you a little update on the regional general permit, that's the 404 process with the Corps. Ian has left the Corps, and they have replaced Ian with another staff person. But just to give you a little background on that, from what I've been told, the office used to have 10 staff people. Now with Ian's departure, they're down to 4. So we're starting to get workload challenges from, and the person who's replacing Ian is she has committed to reviewing our documents, but the bi-monthly meeting schedule has already been altered. The next couple meetings have been canceled. So I'm a little concerned about us getting the RGP completed in the fall. I'm working closely with ICF to keep the heat on the Corps, and if need be, I would certainly like to engage the board in either a letter to the Corps or maybe some conversations with Corps leadership to let them know how important this is for our plan, and that integrating the 404 stuff with the ESA is critical. It was very important for the co-permittees as for adopting the plan. So I'm cautiously optimistic. I got an email from Brad from ICF, Brad Norton, just a couple days ago saying that Lisa's reviewing the most recent documents we sent to them. It's important now. ICF has done a lot of the legwork, and the agency has for the Corps, but now it's important for the Corps to start filling out their paperwork and reviewing documents and getting it ready for us to start to implement the RGP.
Thank you, Mr. Sullivan. I'd like to remind our committee members, some that have been with us since the beginning, some that are a little newer, and those in public today. One of the big concerns, one of the reasons the HCA was created was our knowing that, what are they now, fishing game or fish and wildlife?
Fish, state, fish and wildlife.
Fish and Wildlife is both of them now. Okay. Federal Fish and Wildlife, State Fish and Wildlife, and the Army Corps of Engineers each gave us a heads up that there was going to be reductions in person power, that their staffs were going to be decreased, and what that would do is that would result in prolonging or extending the approval time for individuals and businesses that were applying for permits that prior to the HCA, you know, when you went to Fish and Wildlife and State Fish and Wildlife, Federal and the Army Corps, they told us, get this HCA done because we're being downsized. And the reality is that the federal and state governments are downsizing. And now we're seeing this at the Army Corps, which is obviously a branch of the federal government, is being downsized already. And thankfully, we've got our HCA in place. What we want to do is get this final step done with Army Corps so that those applicants that need Army Corps sign off as well. And that's not everybody. For those of you out in the public, you know, not everyone needs the Army Corps sign off. It depends on the project, where the location of the project, what it's near, adjacent to. But one of the very reasons this HCA was created and should be so beneficial to the public is not having to rely on federal and state agencies processing applications where my 4 years I've been here, they've been telling me from 4 years ago, we're being downsized, our budget's being cut, it's going to take longer to process applications. If you guys can do it locally, Morgan Hill, San Jose County, Gilroy, whatever, you'll be much better serving your constituents. And so, yes, if you need a letter from us, you know, however we need to do that through council, signed, I'll sign, we'll sign, whatever as chairs, whatever needs to be approved, we'll certainly do that because the last step in this process is getting Army Corps on. But admittedly, a year ago, we didn't think we'd be this close to having Army Corps on. And then there was a nice little change where there was more of a collaboration attitude, if you will. And I think we are this close. And now we need to get over that. You know, we're at the 5-yard line, right? We got to get over that final one into the end zone. And then we'll have Fish and Wildlife, Federal and State, and the Army Corps as partners. And the end result will be protection of endangered species in open lands and also more expedited processing of applications. So whatever you need that we can do, please let us know.
Thank you.
Committee members, anything else regarding our executive director's report?
Mr.
One
Sullivan. More item, and this is in reference to payroll. So I've been working with Jill of the agency to establish a payroll system for the agency. So Levity is a company that's worked with the county before, and we're establishing a payroll system for I get paid and any future employees.
Take your time on that.
Yeah, and you know, it's a great job. Psychic income, right?
There you go.
So that's it. Thank you.
We'll have the Bitcoin deposited in your account right away. Absolutely. Any other questions of our executive director, Mr. Sullivan? No? Valerie, please.
Thank you.
Unless you're going to tell me I have to take you under other business.
No, it's fine.
All right, thank you.
My name is Valerie Armento. I'm the new agency counsel. I have spent my entire career here in the Bay Area as a city attorney in local government, first as a staff attorney in Fremont, then Hayward, then as the city attorney of South San Francisco, and over a decade as the city attorney of Sunnyvale. Since my retirement from Sunnyvale, I've been the interim city attorney in Napa, Santa Clara, and East Palo Alto 3 times. And I've done some work for some of the other agencies and entities, including the Water District and the county. So I'm very interested and anxious and happy to be here. I have both a law degree and a master's in regional planning, so I see this as a really good combination, and I look forward to working with all of you.
Great, thank you very much. And if you don't mind my asking, where do you call home?
I live in Sunnyvale.
Okay, wonderful. All right, I was hoping it wasn't San Francisco because we just did the ribbon cutting on the 49ers, and they belong to Santa Clara County now, not San Francisco. So.
And when that project started, I was the interim city attorney in Santa Clara.
Wow.
Oh,
Okay.
nice.
Wonderful, wonderful. Well, it was a happy day. Any other questions, comments, anything at all?
No, just welcome.
Welcome.
Thank you.
Yeah.
And Mr. Sullivan, that concludes your report?
Yes.
And yes, welcome both of you, and quite a team, quite a team.
Thank
Thank
you.
you. Unless there's any other comments from the public or from the committee. Yes, Commissioner Lazat.
Well, I see Ken is in the audience, and I'm just wondering if this is going to be his last appearance. You're all right? Well, I just want to, I mean, if this is going to be your last appearance in front of us, I mean, I really think that we owe you a debt of gratitude and a humongous thank you, and for everything that you've done for this organization. I know you hate people doing this to you, but I wasn't going to let that pass. I'm sure every one of us wanted to say something, but I wasn't sure whether this was going to be your last, I guess 17 days. I don't think we're meeting within that 17 days. So just personally, thank you for everything. Thank you for all that you did, all of the education you gave me. As you know, I was served on one of the other committees when I represented the city of Gilroy on the attorney liaison panel or committee, whatever it was, and you were always very good at explaining, because that was different. All of the agreements came through that committee, and it was trying to get those agreements out the door so that we could move this agency along. So I just wanted to say thank you, and wish you well in your retirement. That will be coming shortly, I'm sure.
Well deserved.
Thank you. Member Schmidt.
I'm sure we all, as you just saw, we all share in the thanks for all the work you've done, Ken. And I think we'll, in addition to this informal thank you we're doing right now, we'll try and have something a little bit more formal to thank you for your decade of life, getting us to this point.
Yeah, we will call you back for that, Ken. Absolutely. And we're probably a little short on a decade. How long have you been involved with this?
I think since 2000.
Is it 10?
9 years and 9 months.
Oh, Brian's right on. That's exactly right.
Yeah.
Thank you. I got here 4 years ago, knew nothing about this at all with my role in Los Gatos Council, and I appreciate all the time that you spent with me, Ken, in the early days, especially explaining what this is, what the intent, the purpose is, why this was being created, why it was so important, and for seeing us through and being here. I mean, I can't imagine. I can only speak for myself, but I can't imagine that we'd be done. All the stuff that you did with all the agencies and all the organizations and all of your knowledge that you brought here. I know you've been doing this for many, many years, and Santa Clara County really benefited from your expertise. And you really made this happen. And as Brian said, we have a little something else that we'll be calling you back for. Anybody else? Anything else? Nope. All right, then this meeting is adjourned, and our next meeting is September 18th at the same location. Thank you all very much.